In the remote village of Moikali, deep within the lush forest of eastern Africa, lived a girl named Zawadi. She was known for her kind heart, her bright smile, and her love for animals. Her mother had died when she was young, leaving her in the care of her father, Mzike Jonah, a hardworking farmer. Life was peaceful until the day her father remarried a woman named Nafila. Nafila, Zawadi's stepmother, came from a distant village and brought with her strange customs and ideas. Unlike Zawadi's mother, who had been gentle and nurturing, Nafila was cold and demanding. She treated Zawadi with disdain, making her do all the household chores while she lounged and ate the finest food. Zawadi endured it silently, hoping that one day things would change. One evening, Zawadi overheard Nafila speaking in hushed tones with a mysterious visitor. She hid behind the door, straining to hear. The visitor, a man with a deep voice, spoke of a ritual, one that involved the serpent known as Kifaru, a guardian of hidden riches in the underworld. He promised that anyone who tamed the serpent would gain immense wealth, but it came with a terrible price. The serpent required a human companion, someone young and pure, to stay with it every night. Zawadi's blood ran cold as she realized what they were planning. But she had no time to escape or tell her father, for Nafila had already made up her mind. The next morning, Nafila took Zawadi aside, her voice smooth and deceitful. "Zawadi, you are old enough to help the family now," she said, her eyes narrowing with a strange gleam. "There is a special task I need you to do. It will bring us great fortune, and your father will never have to toil in the fields again." Zawadi hesitated, sensing the darkness behind her stepmother's words, but she felt she had no choice. That night, Nafila led Zawadi deep into the forest, to a hidden cave that no one in the village spoke of. Inside, the air was damp and cold, and the shadows seemed to move with a life of their own. At the heart of the cave was a large stone altar, and coiled around it was Kifaru, the serpent, its scales as black as night, its eyes gleaming with a sickly green glow. Zawadi's breath caught in her throat as she saw the creature. It was larger than she had imagined, its body thick and powerful, yet it moved with a graceful slowness. Nafila pushed Zawadi forward and ordered her to lie down beside the snake, whispering that this was the only way to bring wealth to their home. Terrified and trembling, Zawadi lay down, her heart racing as the serpent's cold body wrapped around her legs. She closed her eyes and prayed for the night to pass quickly. As she lay there, she could feel the serpent's scales brushing against her skin, its breath chilling her face. But the creature did not harm her, it only kept her close, as though drawing something from her, her warmth, her essence, her very spirit. Days turned into weeks, and Zawadi was forced to return to the cave each night. Her face grew pale, and she lost the brightness that had once defined her. Nafila, on the other hand, became more lavish, wearing gold jewelry and buying expensive cloth. She boasted to the villagers about her newfound wealth, though no one knew its dark origin. Zawadi's father, Mzike Jonah, grew worried about his daughter's health, but Nafila always had an excuse. "She is just working too hard, my husband," she would say with a false smile. "It's for our future." But Zawadi could feel her strength fading with each passing night. The serpent's presence was like a heavy shadow, and she could sense that it was slowly draining her life. Yet she couldn't disobey her stepmother, fearing what might happen if she tried to resist. One fateful night, as she lay beside Kifaru, Zawadi had a dream. In it, she saw her late mother, standing on the banks of a river that shimmered like silver in the moonlight. Her mother's voice was soft but urgent. "Zawadi, you must break free from this darkness. The serpent's power is bound by a secret name. Speak it, and you will be free." Zawadi woke with a start, her heart pounding. She did not know what the secret name was, but she felt a new resolve burning inside her. She knew that if she did not act soon, she would lose her life to the serpent and her stepmother's greed. The next day, Zawadi returned to the cave, pretending to be as obedient as always. But this time, she paid close attention to the serpent's movements, listening to the whispers in the air. As the serpent coiled around her that night, she heard a faint sound, like the wind carrying a name through the darkness. Her lips trembled as she repeated the word, Malinzi. Malinzi. The serpent froze, its coils loosening as it reared back, hissing angrily. Zawadi felt the pressure lift from her body, and she seized the moment. She stood up, her legs shaking, and spoke the name again with more strength. Malinzi, I command you to release me. A powerful gust of wind tore through the cave, and the serpent writhed, its body shrinking and twisting as though the name had shattered its power. It shrieked, a sound that echoed through the forest, and then it vanished into a cloud of smoke, leaving behind only a pile of dark, crumbling scales. Zawadi collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. But she knew she had broken the spell. When she returned home that night, she confronted Nafula, her voice steady despite her exhaustion. Your greed almost cost me my life, Nafula. But I am free now, and so is the serpent. Nafula's face twisted with fear and anger, realizing that her scheme had failed. She tried to strike Zawadi, but the villagers, hearing Zawadi's cries, came rushing to the scene. They were horrified to learn the truth of Nafula's cruelty and the dark magic she had used. The village elders cast Nafula out, banishing her to the wilderness, where she was left to face the consequences of her greed. Mzikejona, heartbroken and repentant, embraced his daughter, vowing to make up for the years he had turned a blind eye to her suffering. Zawadi slowly regained her strength, and with time, the light returned to her eyes. She never forgot the serpent's dark embrace or her mother's guiding voice. But she found peace in knowing that she had freed herself and broken the curse that had held her captive. As for the wealth Nafula had gained, it faded as quickly as it had come, and the villagers learned a lesson that they would never forget: true wealth comes not from greed, but from the bonds of love and family. And deep in the forest, the cave remained, empty and silent, a reminder of the darkness that had once lurked there, and the girl who had the courage to face it.